What's going on, everyone? Welcome into Bayou Bengals football. So, Brian Kelly, giddy to have Maason Smith back. Maason Smith, such a dominant force at the defensive tackle position for LSU. Like, it sounds like they're going to play him some limited snaps, but it's just going to be exciting to see Maason Smith out there. This guy is just, you know what he's capable of when he's on the field. Just a dominant, disruptive force, 6'5", 6'6", you know. They can move him around. Brian Kelly loves his versatility. He can play anywhere from the 0 tech to the 6 to the 5 tech. This dude is just a true disruptor. And I was listening to a Harold Perkins interview, and they're talking like, sounds like in practice they have to take him out of team time and drills just because he's that disruptive. So yeah, Maason Smith got a chance to really make a statement in his first game back, even though they don't really need his skill set. They're not really begging for his skill set in this game. Having him back is crucial to this defense, and he is certainly a dominant force on the defensive line. So yeah, we talked a little bit yesterday. Do we see Ashton Stamps in this game? Ashton Stamps, a very good young player that's impressing in camp. And with the way the corners played against Florida State, that's the question is, are we going to see more of the young guys, and specifically at the cornerback position? So Ashton Stamps got a chance to play some more snaps this game against Grambling. It makes you wonder how, if they could have won some of those 50-50 balls, a couple of those 50-50 balls if Stamps is matched up against Coleman. But the night Coleman had for Florida State, you kind of just get the feel like he would have mossed just about anyone that night. And it was Florida State's night. It was Florida State's half. They took control of the game, and they were on a mission to win that game, and Coleman was on a mission to win those 50-50 balls. What else to watch for? Yeah, I want to see who starts the game at running back. You get the feel it's probably going to be Trey Bradford again. Bradford got a chance to, if he plays really well in this game, got a chance to really kind of maybe hone in on that starting running back position. Caleb Jackson, does he play at all in this game? I think will be an interesting thing to watch. Trey Holly too. Yeah, just a couple of the young freshman running backs. I think a lot of people are hungry to see if those guys get meaningful snaps in this game. So yeah, I'm looking forward to see which of the young guys play. That was the one thing I was looking for. You kind of get so engrossed in the matchup against Florida State, you kind of forget to look for some of these things. But I was looking at who went out there first, who was starting. Trey Bradford starting. That was an interesting thing to me. And then who subbed in and rotated in on defense. You saw Andre Sam come in, Ogofu come in, Swinson get some snaps. Those guys were typically some of the guys I thought were going to get some snaps, but also Greg Penn got some snaps. I think it sounds like the plan this week might be they're going to move Perkins a little bit to the outside, let him just blitz, see ball, get ball, and they're going to get Greg Penn some more snaps in the middle, have him in Spates inside. So keep an eye on that. And do they release Perkins? That is see ball, get ball sounds like the name of his game. I think that ideally, that's not necessarily what you want a linebacker to do, what Harold Perkins does, just the see ball, get ball. It's not really what being a linebacker is all about. But with this guy, sometimes in life you make exceptions for people who are so talented. Harold Perkins, to me, is one of those guys, just such a superior athlete, such a superior talent. You kind of throw out schemes, positional responsibilities, and you can just turn him loose, say, go get the quarterback. One play, go get the quarterback. Another play, just go blitz, go create havoc, basically go do you, Perkins. So we'll see if we'll get a little bit of go do you. But yeah, I was listening to that. I went back and watched the Harold Perkins interview. Was like a week ago before the Florida State game, but he talked about how Maason Smith back makes his job a lot easier, and I couldn't agree more with that. Maason Smith will make the linebacker's job overall easier. So I think watch for the snaps that Maason Smith plays. Watch the LSU linebackers. You get the feel that they have a chance to really excel with Maason Smith on the field. Him eating up blocks, eating up double teams is going to give free reign for the linebackers, and I expect that we see a better game from Omar Spates and Harold Perkins in this game, and even Greg Penn for the snaps he gets in. The safeties, obviously they need Burns and Greg Brooks to play better. I'm not gonna say that Burns and Greg Brooks were the reason they lost Florida State, but you get the feel that, as much as you love the experience of those guys, could they really hold them back from winning big games? This is kind of, this kind of sounds hot takey, I guess, if you will, just because Greg Brooks, no one really looks at Greg Brooks and Major Burns as the reason they lost, but it's just like, when you're in all these close games and you're going through the grind of the SEC West, you got to find your best. You got to get your best players out there. And I kind of had this take before. That's the argument for playing Ashton Stamps, for playing Caleb Jackson. That's why reporters are asking these questions. You just got, like, to me, I talk about getting difference makers on the field ad nauseum. But if you look at Colorado, part of the reason they upset, I guess you call it an upset. Maybe they are the better team, but at the time, before the game, they were an upset. If you look at Colorado, if you look at the overall roster, it's not really anything super special. But what does Colorado have? They have at least three true difference makers: Travis Hunter, Shadur Sanders, and Dylan Edwards. So you have three true difference makers, and one of them happens to play both ways and just a freak athlete. So, with that being said, that's just the argument that that just backs up the point of how important having difference makers is. So, with the case of LSU, if Caleb Jackson could be another difference maker, if Ashton Stamps could be another difference maker, number one, we got to find out, and if we find out the answer to that question is yes, then we got to get them on the field now. We don't wait multiple games. We got to get them on the field as soon as possible so that we stop giving up yardage, we stop giving up contested catches. Because, LSU at this point, I know it's only one game. We got to go back to that. But you lose another game, and it's just like, no team, even though LSU had a chance to be the first team last year, no team has made the playoff with 2 losses. So, LSU, against Grambling, not only are you trying to get a win, not only are you trying to get your first win, even though you expect to win, is that as a fan, it's okay to say that this should be almost nearly about as guaranteed a win as there is. You also got to try to figure some things out. You can't just go into this game where, and not that the coaching staff would do this, but you can't just go into this game where, yeah, we're a better team. We'll go out there, play the same guys last week against Florida State. Our guys are better than their guys. We won't do anything. We won't try anything different. We'll just go out and get the win. What is that? That doesn't accomplish anything. You got to be, to me, this is almost kind of, these games, people kind of refer to these as almost like preseason games. I think that's a good analogy for it. We got to try to evaluate what we have. Can we count on, okay, so let's take Caleb Jackson, for example. Caleb Jackson, a lot of buzz, talented running back. We have to try to figure out what we have from Caleb Jackson, not only through our evaluations in practice, drills, in the scrimmage, but also, can we trust this guy in a game situation? Now, Grambling's not the most high-end, competitive, dire game situation, but it is a game situation nonetheless. And we have to make sure that when he's on the field with some nerves in a full stadium, we gotta make sure that even though he's young, we can count on him. We can count on guys like Ashton Stamps. We can count on guys, even Andre Sam, who has a lot of experience. We can count on him to show that he can continue to play at a high level in an SEC caliber against SEC caliber teams in an SEC caliber environment. So yeah, those are some things. I guess some things to watch. I throw out Caleb Jackson and Ashton Stamps' name a lot. Mekhi Wingo, Mekhi Wingo, to me, Mekhi Wingo is one guy that has my utter respect of just about anyone on this football team. Mekhi Wingo is just an absolute animal, and I think he got a little bit tired against Florida State, but he was a guy who, when he was playing snaps, fully healthy, this guy was just completely flying around making plays. So I absolutely love the skill set he brings to this team, I think he's got a chance to really, I think he has a chance to really move. If there's any guy that's really going to increase his draft stock this year, Malik Neighbors and Maason Smith already kind of in that top 5 discussion in regards to their position. But if there's one guy that could have a chance to his draft stock really skyrockets, you get the feel it's Mekhi Wingo. So yeah, keep an eye on Mekhi Wingo in this game. He, wearing the number 18, which is one of the biggest honors in college football. You hear the Eagles coach or the Eagles GM, Howie Roseman, drafted Benny Logan, one of the Eagles player or one of the LSU players, just because he wore that number. How it's just such a coveted, respected number to have. And yeah, he, Mekhi Wingo really honoring that number super well in that first game against Florida State. So yeah, Wingo needs to have another big game, and they need him to stay healthy, and they need him to keep his win throughout the course of the season and throughout as they take on more SEC opponents. But yeah, Brian Kelly, listen to the players talk yesterday. Jaden Daniels just, he is more so looking to, like the other guys, more so looking to move on. I think that he understands it's a long season. Hopefully his veteran presence will be key. He's been through some up and downs throughout in his career, so he understands some of the highs and lows of college football. So a chance to get a win this week, and a chance for him to work on some things he needs to work on. And Brian Kelly said that, even though Jaden Daniels is such a prolific runner, Jaden Daniels can't be their leading rusher. When a quarterback is your leading rusher, usually it's a lot of times it's cause for concern. So they need Daniels to really play well in this game. And yeah. So I'm going to wrap with that, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching this clip. Make sure to stay tuned for more full episodes and clips from the show.